Welcome to Part of the Penetration. I am Jay.
And I'm T.
And
welcome back. Kind of missed you, man.
Thank you guys for holding it down for me while I work.
As always.
Got to get this money, man. This week, we will talk about Venezuela government trying to hack activists. We'll also see what the state of Connecticut, what a few of their cities are doing to handle cybersecurity. If you thought you were sliding your Twitter DMs in the trash, you might not have. And also how an ex-FBI and CIA director reverse engineered a Jamaican phone scammer.
Well, I will be talking about a popular dating app recently had a data breach. You thought that one of the biggest breaches of last year was over with, may not be. And Google decided to step up on its Play Store and secure some apps.
All right, we're going to see. So the first story is a Venezuelan government trying to hack activists. So, excuse my ignorance, but I'm not too sure what's going on in Venezuela right now. But I know the government has blocked off aid to receive aid.
Right. So, I know it's bad out there. I'm not too familiar with it myself.
Sure what the reason is. But they blocked off aid, and the opposition leader, he was like, if you, we're looking for volunteers, any citizen, if you want to volunteer, help us out, go to this website and register. So a couple days later, a different domain pops up, and it's an identical domain to the one for the volunteers, but it's probably missing one letter. And when volunteers tried to go to the legitimate site, they were actually redirected to the fake phishing sites.
I wonder by who.
Security researcher was able to track down the malicious phishing site and saw that the IP address belonged to an ISP of the Venezuelan government. So I don't know what the Venezuelan government's purpose is.
Oh, we know.
I assumed it was so what the phishing site was doing was trying to gain access to social media and like their Gmail. So what are they going to do? Like, we're not doing this anymore. Like, we're all here for the government. Like, I don't know what their purpose was.
Oh, I hope that's the reason. I hope they're not trying to track anybody down, do some covert ops type things, take out some oppositions, could get a little messy, but
it be your own government, man.
It do. Well, Valentine's Day passed by last week. Everyone was in lovey-dovey mood.
Were they?
I guess so. I was celebrating Singles Awareness Day. So.
Okay, that's your cue, ladies. Go ahead and shoot your shot.
So, a dating app called Coffee Meets Bagel was breached. They exposed over 6 million of their customers, users' data. Know how popular dating app works. They usually connect to Facebook and things like that. So I'm thinking maybe that's the type of stuff they got exposed. That's exposed on the dark web called Dream Market. So who knows what they're going to be using it for? Maybe, age, first name, last name that's on there that's connected, and then location. So I wonder what they could be using it for.
Okay, kids, this is an example of single source of failure.
Right.
And of course it has to do with Facebook again.
When does it ever not incorporate?
Not include them. And they're selling it on the dark web. Russia's gonna be lit with all of these Facebook logins.
Oh, they were like, you thought the past election was bad? We can run this back to back. They're probably playing Drake's back to back. That's probably their theme song while they're doing this.
Oh my gosh. How do people even protect themselves? I guess don't be lazy. Just go ahead and use the email and call it a day, instead of using Facebook. Because what happens is once your Facebook is compromised, the app is compromised, and vice versa. All right. Well, ways that the state of Connecticut is a couple cities, including Bridgeport. I want to say Derby and
West Haven?
West Haven. Yes, West Haven. They recently came out with what they're doing, when it comes to cybersecurity. So we never think about all the stuff that we do when it comes to the county and the city online.
Right, we do a lot.
Your girl recently got a ticket. I had to pay that online.
Come on, man. Gotta be better than that. Can't let them catch you.
Call me slipping, man. Call me
Should
slipping.
push it to the metal.
That was the issue. But you pay property taxes online when you contact the fire department, the police. They take down relative information to you.
Right.
So say the police department, whatever, it's a death. Now you have the person's name, age. You probably have like
date of birth,
next of kin.
Right.
So there's a lot you can do social engineering wise with that information. And then cities in Connecticut, they recently 23 servers were brought down by hackers.
Wow.
Also, when it came to the school system servers and also the police department.
So you're telling me to keep Connecticut off my list of places to live in?
Okay. That ain't place. I'm not sure what's in Connecticut.
ESPN.
No
ESPN is. ESPN is.
No offense to Connecticut, but so initially the city had volunteers. They just have volunteers helping them.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I get... No, let me not lie. I don't get it. But they just have people volunteering. Oh, you good with computers? Boom.
So
it's your job.
They probably didn't do any checks, anything like that. See if they actually
Your average script kiddie just throwing up a server up there.
Yeah, and people probably could have known, but they could have went rogue and things like that. So they say, hey, see what this happens if I put this up here.
Yeah. So they got a third-party service to come in and update their servers and to check their firewalls, to check how passwords are being managed, to better help secure, the city's resources.
So they're on a good path now, which is, it's sad that had to happen, but they got somebody to come in to clean everything up.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, it's never too late to implement security. But I wish there was a proper vetting process than volunteers.
Right.
But yeah, it just made me wonder what, our city is doing, city of Tampa, Hillsborough, when it comes to cybersecurity.
I think they'll be pretty good. They're one of the top departments in the nation, so I hope that they'll be handling it.
Okay. All right, so we ain't got nothing to worry about.
I don't think we have anything to worry about. So speaking on topic of our information being everywhere, one of the things that is everywhere that we have no control over is our credit score. So last year, everyone was distraught about Equifax being breached and things like that, and some people were distraught. Some people who didn't have credit or froze their credit, they're just like, hey, I'm good. I don't have to worry about that. That's on y'all. But now there's a hosting provider that provides hosting services for reporting agencies such as Equifax, TransUnion, and the other one, Experian. So their name is Image iNation Technologies. They recently had a supply chain breach that happened. For those of you who don't know, supply chain breach is when a third party is exposed. I think about what happened with Target. Actually, everyone thinks Target got breached, and it was a system with Target. It was actually
vendor.
It was actually a vendor failure on their end that allowed them to get through to Target. So that's what happened in this case. So back in November, between November 1st and November 15th, Image iNation, one of their third-party vendors, got breached, and they ended up exposing sensitive data for about 2 weeks. They picked it up around December 20th that this breach happened, and included, standard date of birth, social security number, first and last name, addresses. So, man.
How long did it take for them to discover that?
About a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Have they learned nothing?
I
need to know what incident response is looking like at Equifax. Also, when are we going to get better with our vendor management?
Exactly.
I can't what?
I mean, we're not technically saying it's all Equifax fault, I'm sorry, but this is why you do your vendor management. You make sure that your vendors are actually
when you get caught
vetting
slipping one time,
you get caught again.
You get caught slipping twice. I can't put my trust in you, man. Good thing my information ain't for everybody. Right. My information is already frozen. Man,
I just wish they would delete this stuff like they delete DMs.
Speaking of DMs, have you been shooting your shot in the DMs?
No.
Okay, well, according your Twitter archive might say something different. So
Twitter archive is barren, so yeah.
Okay, don't let us test that theory.
Okay.
A security researcher recently downloaded a archive of their Twitter account. I believe it was an account that they had deactivated.
Okay.
The article doesn't say if it was an activated or suspended account. But you do have the option to download your Twitter archive, just for, I guess, history research purposes. Okay. And they were able to see all the DMs they sent via Twitter, even if it was deleted.
Wow.
So, Twitter's policy is if you delete your account, they keep that information, I believe, up to 30 days, and then, it disappears. But your log data can be there for up to 18 months. So you don't know if they keep it in a month, 12, like 18.
Whatever point they decide it's
I guess
18.
I don't know how they do that. How do they know we just gonna get rid of Trent data? He ain't coming back.
Yeah, not at all.
Your log data includes your IP address, the mobile browser you're using, what phone you're using, stuff like that. They're calling it a functional bug. I guess technically that information can be breached. I guess the information can be breached, so it's not seen as a security bug, but it's being labeled as a functional bug.
So the moral of the story is shoot your shot in Snapchat.
Be careful what you're sending in your DMs.
Yes, do be smart. Things, just because you send it out there and you think it disappeared, it can always come back. Speaking of apps, we always have this age-old debate: what's better, Apple or Android? Yeah, we know the answer. Well, and one of the things we always rag on Android users about is, hey, your Play Store isn't secure. You got bugs, you got Trojan, you got malware, you got all these things going on. Well, I think Google heard us. Well, a little bit. They decided to tighten up their policies recently, and they decided, once they decided to tighten up their policies, it ended up with about 55% rejection rate that was increased on suspicious apps, and then they suspended 66% more of suspicious apps. So they were doing scans, making sure, seeing if anything was running in the background on phones and doing malicious things that they shouldn't be doing, and then in that turn, they would either suspend them, or if they were being brought in, they would just reject them.
But why didn't they do this just from the beginning?
They wanted this whole free open source thing, and I think they wanted to get away from the whole Apple mantra, but
propriety, everything, okay? Propriety, everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad that Google is, tightening up. Hopefully they will continue to, do their due diligence when it comes to those apps. The last article I have is an ex-CIA agent or CIA director and ex-FBI agent reverse engineers a phone call from a Jamaican phone scammer.
Wow.
The reason I wanted to talk about this article is because this is just another way to social engineer somebody. Okay. And this actually happens a lot. We talk about the Nigerian princes and their emails. This really affects your older loved ones.
Right.
So how this story went was someone from Jamaica calls up and says, hey, you just won the lottery and you just won a new Benz.
Oh, wow.
I got this money for you, but you got to pay the taxes first. So I'm going to need you to send me $50K. So little did he know, well, he did let him know the guy's name was William Webster. And he did let him know, I did my research on you. I saw everything about you. But little did he know he was an ex-FBI agent and CIA director.
Okay.
And I believe he was the only or the first person to be a part of both.
Okay. Interesting.
So the guy was just like, oh, bet. It's I guess he probably didn't even play ex-FBI, ex-CIA. He probably even played lottery.
Right.
So they continue to have multiple conversations. When William Webster contacts the phone scammer back, he has the FBI listening. So, the conversations kind of escalated to the point where he even threatened William Webster's wife.
Wait. So you're telling me I just won the lotto and you need to send me this money, but I'm going to shoot your wife. It's what he said.
Yes.
That made any sense.
They didn't, I guess they didn't really think that all the way through.
It's taken, he was, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Lotto get kind of crazy.
I guess so.
But,
scammers want their money.
Yeah. So I guess why it escalated to that point is because he told him I really don't have 50 bands on me right now.
Right.
He's like, okay, cool, just pay 20. And that's not realistic.
If the taxes
I believe you pay taxes. Oh, you ain't got all of it. I'll take.
Government ain't doing that.
Definitely not.
Not at all.
And they take their taxes off rip before they even, divulge it to you.
Oh yeah.
But moral of the story is they did end up catching this guy once he made a trip to New York. But this is just, a prime example of social engineering and phishing that happens to older loved ones. Because that phone scammer, actually, they said he made up to at least up to $600K.
Jeez.
Yes, off of doing phone scams. So please let your loved ones be aware. Don't get got out here.
Scamming ain't dead.
And that's not you ain't gonna win the lottery like that.
No, not at all.
That Uncle
Lotto
Sam definitely.
and a car.
Yeah.
What lotto was? Never mind.
Uncle Sam gonna take their money off top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, before it's released to you. But that's all the articles I have.
Do you have any church announcements?
Only church announcements I have is the Diana Initiative. Their call for papers is still open.
Okay.
Go ahead and shoot your shot. And I want to say besides Atlanta, their call for papers is open.
Okay.
But that's it for me.
This has been Part of Penetration.
I'm Jay.
And I'm T.
That's all.